Vox Box Podcast, Episode 15. So you're in the vacuum of space, huh? That little breathing mask will be fine.
What is thy bidding, my master?
There is great disturbance in the force.
The Vox Box Star Wars Podcast. Your source for Star Wars comics, news, and more. And now your host, Michael Corley.
Welcome back to Vox Box Star Wars Comic Book Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Corley. Thank you so much for listening. Today, we are covering Star Wars number 15. It is titled Star Duel. We open with Crimson Jack, leader of the pirates who have hijacked an Imperial Star Destroyer. They are coming for vengeance on Han Solo. Han Solo has tricked them to taking them to the planet where Luke Skywalker had disappeared. He and Leia had come to help rescue Luke, but they had promised Crimson Jack a great treasure from the rebellion, and they have since realized they've been tricked. They want Han Solo dead. One of my personal favorite insults from Crimson Jack to one of his space pirates is, "Has everyone but me got a black hole for a brain? Back to your stations!" He is sending Jolie. Jolie is the purple-haired right-hand command of Crimson Jack. She has been increasingly agitated ever since Han Solo came on. One, that she's had feelings about Han Solo. Two, that it's been highlighting to her how dissatisfied she has been being second best to Crimson Jack. He is offering her a chance to destroy Han Solo. Speaking of Han Solo, we cut to the giant pirate ship that is on the water world. They are in the aftermath of the great battle between the Dragon Riders and the evil Governor Quarg. Sorry, it's still fun to say. Quarg! Han Solo has sent C-3PO and R2-D2 to effect repairs on the Millennium Falcon when they yell at C-3PO to get down. Why is that? There is a spaceship, a Y-Wing, coming in from the pirates to destroy the Millennium Falcon. Han Solo quickly leaps off the pirate ship to swim back to his vessel to defend it. Princess Leia and Luke Skywalker have to jump into the water. Luke Skywalker says, speaking of bravery, Leia, Princess, there's been something I've been keeping hidden since the droids and I crashed on this planet. I can't swim. Now, that's normally just a little wah-wah moment, but I really like that. That was a nice little touch. He's from a desert planet. The largest body of water he's probably ever seen was a bucket of blue milk. However, Princess Leia is helping to drag him back to the Millennium Falcon, which Han Solo mentioned is quite able to float. Inside the Millennium Falcon, Chewbacca has raised the deflector shields, and C-3PO is doing what he does best, complain. And you know what that means, ladies and gentlemen? It is time for
Dramatic reenactment.
Slower, you great hunk of hair! Wookiee is not one of my primary languages. Obviously you got the deflector shields up in time. Now what is this about? An overhead firing toggle? Do you have any notion what the surly creature is? It's this. Then just say so without any nasty embellishments about my character. Now, what's it supposed to... Oh! Well, my specialties of translation and protocol hardly cover that.
That great reading of C-3PO was by Jason Collier from the Expanded Fandomverse podcast. I've really been enjoying their podcast focusing on comics. They do different kinds of podcasts, and one of them focuses on comics, as well as their usual focus on Star Wars fans. A little fun fact, Jason is a 501st member, so hit him up on advice on how to best wear your Stormtrooper armor. You can find Jason at the expandedfandomverse.com. Thanks, Jason. Han, Luke, and Leia are making their way onto the Millennium Falcon. They are getting it airborne, and things are about to get hectic. They have headed out into space, but the various pirate ship-to-ship vessels, they have a scrounged Y-Wing, as we saw earlier. That is being flown by Jolie. but also an Imperial bomber, which is kind of cool. I'm not sure if this is the first appearance of an Imperial bomber, but it could be. That could actually be the first appearance of a TIE fighter bomber. Jolee is zeroing in on him, and the other pirates are yelling at Jolee as she's hot-shotting it and saying, "Aye, Jolee, we know our job. You don't have to keep proving that you're the flight commander." And we get a flashback to Jolee and her mother when Jolee was young. Her father abandoned them when the Empire was attacking their world. He said, "Woman, you're not good enough," to Jolie's mother. And let's say that's had a rather big impression on her. She must prove that she is good enough. The ships are trying to hem the Millennium Falcon into the tractor beam of the Star Destroyer, and they're just barely able to get out of the way. Chewbacca throws the ship into full reverse. And Han references once again that this won't be any worse than threading their way through the fire rings of Fornax. And the narrator mentions that this type of maneuvering would normally send a cargo vessel to pieces, but all of the special modifications that Han Solo and Chewbacca have made keep it together in the middle of the fight. Luke Skywalker has resumed his place in the ship's guns, and he has been able to blow up a Y-wing, which is not Jolee's. Jolee actually comes in so close, she scrapes the side of the Millennium Falcon. A very interesting art I love that they do. They show that the vibration going through the ship, they actually draw the line width over and over again to show the... Han Solo says that the scrape must have damaged the gyro control module, and they have no choice but to shut down and make repairs. Crimson Jack contacts him to see if he has any last words before blowing him out of space. Han Solo, ever prepared, says, "I'm touched, Redbeard, but before you do any blasting, better check your cruiser's navigation computer." While they're doing that, Han Solo sends R2-D2 to see if he can do anything about the gyro control module. Crimson Jack is furious. The Navi computer is not functional. When Han Solo was on board and when he was up front noshing and hanging out with Crimson Jack, they took advantage and transferred all of their star charts onto the Millennium Falcon. If they don't get those back, they are trapped in this part of space forever. Outside, we see R2-D2 and C-3PO on the hull of the ship. R2-D2, C-3PO is saying, "I hate space travel when I'm inside a ship. This positively curdles each of my capacitors." Han Solo recommends a trade with Crimson Jack, all of his star charts, in exchange for the parts they need to go into space themselves. We see drifting in space Jolee's ship. It was badly damaged by that scrape. It was much smaller than Millennium Falcon. And one of the shipmates is telling Crimson Jack that she needs a magnetic pulse beam to help her get back to the ship. And he says, she can make it on her own if she's good enough. And that doesn't sit real well with Jolee. Now this is where Star Wars just completely leaves normal science fiction. And part of me absolutely loves it, and part of me just can't stand it. Crimson Jack and Han Solo simply float out to see each other, and all they have is a simple respirator and face mask. Why? Han Solo says they are being protected by their cruiser's magnetic field. So in other words, the Imperial Star Destroyer just extends a magnetic field, and they can just hang out in space with no protection, just a couple of breathing masks. It's all good. One, that's ridiculous. It's dumb. But at the other hand, it's also Star Wars. And Star Wars goes fast and loose with sci-fi. You have to either be down with that or just stop enjoying it. The other reason they say, though, is as if they were fully suited, they could both be hiding weapons. And both of them had agreed to come without weapons. They're floating out between the two ships, and they're getting ready to trade their parts. However, as soon as they make the trade, Crimson Jack touches a button on his respirator, and it says that was a signal to tighten the magnetic field, leaving nothing but vacuum between the Millennium Falcon and Han Solo. He will die from boiled blood, as Crimson Jack puts it, long before he gets his way home. In an amusing moment, both of them pull out blasters and start shooting at each other. Of course, both the smuggler and the pirate were secreting guns as they fire at each other. And the only problem is many of the crew of Crimson Jack are coming out to help. Han Solo is stuck between a rock and a hard place. He can't simply go back to the Falcon. He'll die, and he can't stay here. He'll be shot by the various pirates. And that's when out of nowhere comes Jolie. Her ship is in tatters. It's literally falling apart, but she's blasting the various pirates. And over the comlink, she's saying, "Is this good enough, Captain? Is it?" He's yelling at her for being a traitor, but she swerves her ship into the munitions deck with a huge explosion. Captain Jack is furious. He's saying, "Gone! The best pirating operation in the galaxy destroyed because of a mad woman and a fast-talking Corellian?" He was far enough from the blast to survive, but everyone else is gone. Han Solo, however, who was far away since he was closest to the Millennium Falcon, says, "Oh no, there's still me. Thanks to Jolie, I'm still around." Crimson Jack says, "Oh, I should have known it would come down between you and me." And Han Solo says, "No, Jack. Just me." And he shoots Crimson Jack in the chest. Later, Han Solo and Princess Leia are searching through the wreckage and the debris, and they find the body of Jolie. Leia is saying, "She claimed to hate men, but where you were concerned, Han, I had a feeling. And Han Solo says, "Maybe so." And the narrator says, "An unhappy lady named Jolie receives her first and last kiss." And as he gives her a last kiss, Han Solo says, "Let's get moving, people. It's a long trip home." And that ends Star Wars number 15. A very interesting story. Perhaps not the most, shall we say, feminist message from Jolie, in that she's that affected by a man. However, she still is a very strong character, and her decision to take out the one who claimed she wasn't good enough was pretty awesome. But hang on, folks, because you remember my undying love for green rabbits? Well, you're going to get some more in the next issue. You have a wonderful day, and may the Force be with you.
No! You failed, Your Highness. I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
So be it, Jedi.
Thank you for listening to the Vox Box Star Wars podcast. Give us a review on iTunes to help more Star Wars fans find the show. Have a great day, and may the Force be with you.
That was the reading from Star Wars number 15, Han Solo and C-3PO. This is Jason Collier with the Expanded Universe Podcast, the only Star Wars podcast about you, the Star Wars fan.